discussion does now mow. Things do now grow. Tangents now soar.
Yes, baby, we are back. Guess who's back for the clock strikes 12 on this show, because we are on episode 12 on Tangent Kings. Hello everyone, and welcome to a very nice, warm for November Monday, at least where I'm from. Hopefully it's the same to you. This is DiscussThing's Tangent Kings. My name is Helzo, and I am the bearded Balkan blabbermouth. Thank you all for being here. We are happy each Monday to be here for you, to entertain, to discuss, to talk about, to give our opinions, and hopefully stay on the air as long as possible, because weird things have been happening, not only with the dearest platform that we're on, but with alternative sites and programs that aim to replace us, and we're going to be talking about that as well. But I would like to first welcome the chat, because the chat is amazing. The people that are here that are watching us are absolutely amazing. Welcome to, first of all, the Finch King, who basically came here 5-6 hours ago and said start the stream, and we're starting the stream. Hello to the dignified cartoon gentleman, one of our co-hosts as well. Greetings to you, sir. And we have also Smash JT, who says drinking tea. I know a guy, and we'll get back to that in just a bit, because we know that is going to be an interesting thing to say. We have Dash Attack, who's here. Flankers gonna be for Vendetta. Looks like a good lineup. Oh yeah, all of those are topics for today. We have also October Sky back to the streams for the first time in a while. Yes, I am back to the stream. I got a hiatus, a little bit of a weekend off. Have Byron of Sidious, who is here as well. Hello. We also have Mike dropped. We have me. We have Galaxy Red, who says don't really like YouTube, but in the chat. Thank you very much. Saint Hugo is also here. Hail, cancel this podcast. Jace, another one of our people here. I just got a brain fart. Hello. Who defeated traffic to be here. Valkyria Winter is here as well. Thank you very much. Baron of Sidious, Roger Haltines as well is here, who's on my down left. And that's pretty much it. I think we're all here, and this is amazing. Now, this is a bit of a weird thing, but it doesn't happen a lot on the show, but we actually received something that we do like to show on this chat, because super chats, memberships are always welcome. And we received one pre-stream from none other than Smash JT. And there's a story to that I'm going to just quickly go over. First of all, I'm going to read it. Buy my tea. This is something that we will get back to later in the show. Thank you so much again, Helzo, for your assistance of the game delivery the other day. I am also making $100 donation to my local animal shelter today because of you. You rock. So there's a short story about that. One of Smash's subscribers won a game because Smash reached, I think, tier 3 on his show, and there was a raffle. He won it. However, due to Steam being weird, Smash could give it to him directly. So he reached out to me as someone from the European Union, and I kind of assisted by getting the guy in touch with the dude, buying the game, gifting the game to him. And Smash was going to come to one of our streams and basically return the money, you know. However, I just told him, look, most of my proceeds go to animal shelters. Just donate, because in any case, I'm gonna have to wait for a month for this money, and it's better for animals to receive help earlier than December. And he did that. He was very thankful, was very happy, and he donated $20 for that. And that's the story. And thank you very much, Smash. Absolutely amazing. Thank you for that. And now to our panel, because we're here to entertain you and we need to be presented. And first of all, I would like to turn to my left and present you Digny, the Dignified Cartoon Gentleman, or DCG as he has abbreviated himself. How are you, my good man?
I'm doing very well, and you're saying guess who's back? Well, my response to that is guess who's black, and the answer is no one, and that's a shame because we need more. We need more black people. We need more women. We need more Jews. We need more diversity on these panels. Okay, and I appreciate everyone for being here. And it was a shame we couldn't have Roger on last week, but we had a full panel, and we appreciate Roger for being here. Now it's great to see Jose. Jose was dodging those Nissan Americans to get home, and by Nissan Americans he means Furious Dan. Literally, that guy loves. Dan loves Japanese cars because they require no maintenance to operate.
Oh boy.
I gave him a German car for Christmas last Christmas, and it broke down within a week because he didn't know how to maintain it properly, like all German things. But it is great to be here. We have a lot of things to talk about, and fingers crossed you will all enjoy today's show. And if my voice sounds familiar, you're hearing things. So how about you, Roger? How have you been?
I've been doing
Puppy.
Oh yeah, there's a dog now. Can't really complain too much. Getting stuff ready over on the Rustic Rollers channel. I am apparently an insane person because I'm going to be DMing a third game that is going to be going along with all the other games that are posted up on that channel. So yeah, that's where my entire life goes, is playing all these games so that people can play make-believe and roll some dice.
Damn, man. Well, I'll tell you this right here, right now, Roger. We're all going to support you in the difficult times you're going through, and we appreciate you're here. And because Roger is going through some hard times at the moment, he's battling an addiction issue, and I'd like you all in the chat to guess what kind of addiction Roger has. Here's a clue: it's not heroin. Okay. So
please, like anybody around where I live can afford to get heroin. It's meth.
Oh, America, ladies and gentlemen, where heroin is too expensive. But how about you, Jose? How have you been?
Just been dodging traffic all over town and hanging in there. Basically, just living day by day. I'm also battling something. It's called old age, as my 45th birthday is next week, so I feel ancient. So I'm having that to deal with. And
well, if you can avoid traffic like you can avoid bricks, then you should be all good.
Maybe, but I will say on the flip side, gentlemen, if Digny needs to know what it's like to be American, I do have an image that I'll just show him right here, right now, as he would say, this is how it feels to be American.
What in the actual good gracious is this? Why? Why?
I'm sorry, Jose. This is not accurate. Why isn't that woman wearing a hat? I'm not going to specify what type of hat, but what hat? My goodness! But that is
the new my 600-pound life episode.
She can't afford a hat because of how much she spent on her weave.
The
I'm
EBT
sorry.
is back, gentlemen. So the grocery
Oh.
store will be miserable again.
Jose, why did you race swap Roger?
Oh shit!
See, look, folks. Most of the time, it doesn't fucking work, but sometimes.
I need to be away for 1 week, and the jokes come back fresher than ever.
My
There you
goodness, have you been eating your pixels too, Roger? You need
No,
those to be on camera.
Not enough protein in it.
Oh, damn.
go.
But if you haven't already, ladies and gentlemen, like the stream, share the stream. Donations are, of course, always welcome. And most of the time, my attempt at humor fails, but that time it really did succeed.
We're up to some bangers today.
Yes, we are. It's a good job Roger wasn't black. I'd be cancelled again. But as for the first topic, ladies and gentlemen, let's write that down for solid 13 and a half minutes. And the first topic is in regards to V for Vendetta getting the James Gunn treatment. And here's another joke that will bomb. So V for Vendetta is going to get felt up in a lift
Oh boy.
because of all the allegations against James Gunn. A lot of people don't like James Gunn. Why does he look like Jack Frost, for example? Why? Why does he look like a Christmas character?
I always think he looks like Colonel Sanders.
That too.
As a Kentuckian, I find that very offensive.
Oh,
That he finds offensive.
well,
Yeah, you don't make fun
Roger.
of our colonel. He gave us good chicken, goddammit.
Roger, it is not surprising you are from Kentucky, but courtesy of what article? Where does this come from, Elzo? Courtesy of
What?
Variety, quote, V for Vendetta television series is in the works at HBO. Is HBO still on television?
Yes.
No.
Yeah,
Mm,
yes.
I guess.
At least here it is.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Well,
people
we're
mainly
30
just
years
use the,
behind, so I don't know about the modern world.
oh, 30 years. Well, you're getting the good shows from HBO then.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be so backwards.
You know, I can't wait for you to watch Game of Thrones in 2040, Elzo, but courtesy of
Don't look
maybe
at spoilers.
maybe by then it'll get a remake and you'll see it finished by 2070. But courtesy of Variety, quote, a V for Vendetta. You're gonna have to zoom in, Elzo. I cannot see that.
Zoom in. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, here you go.
Okay. Down.
You
There we
were
go.
trying to read the other.
A V for Vendetta television series is currently in development at HBO, which I think is short for Home Box Office.
Yes.
So it was basically streaming. It was Netflix before Netflix was Netflix, folks. Variety has
Pretty much,
learned
yeah.
exclusively. According to sources, Pete Jackson is
Not Peter Jackson, by the way.
Oh, it's someone else. So like a
No, it's someone
retarded
else. Yeah.
version. But Pete Jackson is attached to write the series adaptation. James Gunn and Peter Safran of DC Studios will be executive producers. What is the writing we're seeing here? Will executive produce? Who wrote this article?
Yes.
Scroll up. I want to know who wrote this article. Right? Joe Otterson. See, look, why are we letting otters
Son of an
write-
otter.
Why are we
Joe,
letting
son of an
otters
otter.
write articles? It's ridiculous. But yeah, James Gunn and Peter Safran of DC Studios will be executive producers, as will Ben Stevenson via Poison Pen and Leanne Klein of Wall to Wall Media, which is part of Warner Brothers Television Studios UK. Warner Brothers Television will produce. And this is very interesting, folks, because recently, breaking news, as it were, the Saudis have put an investment, well, not investment, a bid rather, of $70 billion US to buy Warner Brothers, and they're still thinking about it. This is
boy.
a company that wants to sell out, but they want to sell out for a price so insane that no one will buy them. That's Warner Brothers. But before we get into...
you're saying that James Gunn might go flying before this is all said and done.
Hopefully. But thank you to Dash Attack for his $10 donation. If Elzo can bring that up, thank you. In which Dash says the following, quote, Guns V for there we go. V for Vendetta will not resemble the comic or the Wachowski sisters, because they're trans. Happy Trans Awareness Week. The Wachowski sisters version, which is based on 2000s politics. You know, guys, when America carpet bombed 2 sand countries to oblivion. Now the UK looks like the movie, but it's going to be Trump derangement syndrome, and all those similarities will be removed. Well, you're absolutely right in your assessment, Dash, and we appreciate your support, and we also appreciate your donation as well. So here's a like. Here's a like to your donation, because apparently you can like donations now. Oh, and thank you to Mike Dropped.
Mike Dropped.
Which sounds like a play on words, but thankfully isn't. Thank you for the $5 donation saying, paying it forward, my dude. I like this guy's profile picture, but when I first saw it, I didn't think that was a microphone in the middle.
Oh no, I can't unsee it now. Damn.
I'm sorry, Mike Drops, but I know your thumbnail is just like your namesake. However, your microphone looks like it would be dropped in the shower. But thank you for your donation, my good man. And as a result of saying that, we'll probably never get another donation from him. But thinking about this situation, I've only ever been a fan of James Gunn when his movie projects are like groupies, right? It's never just one person. He's great at carrying multiple characters in the story, like a team. Guardians of the Galaxy is a fantastic example of this. The Scooby-Doo movies earlier in his career were another great example of that, and that too.
Yeah.
When you look at it, he knows how to push a multi-character storyline, but he just can't push a single character. It's unfortunate, but that's the way he is. That's how he does his various projects. And look at the latest Superman movie. It wasn't a Superman movie. It was more Justice League movie than it was a Superman movie.
It wasn't even Justice League. It was the Justice Pals or whatever bullshit it was.
But you can bring the article up again if you want, Helza.
I would.
I'm just of the mindset of turning previous movies into TV shows, turning franchises from one medium of entertainment to another. It's always a big risk, and it's hard to make happen, okay? Especially decades after its initial release. But what about you, Helzo? What do you make of all this?
I was exactly going to say what you said. I don't have particularly a problem with who is doing it, rather than it is being done. Like, V for Vendetta is something that is, first of all, debated, discussed, and very likely very inspired by 1984 by George Orwell. It is said to be inspired by it. It also depicts something that we can no longer have as a setting. And yes, it does depict a totalitarian government. It does depict oppressive rules and even people with different orientations, stuff like that, being put down. However, the tone of the movie, especially of the movie, is that it's not about groups of people being oppressed by other groups of people. It is the lack of humanity from the government towards humanity. It is like a foreign entity versus all the people, every people. It was about like how the people are actually united in their despair and in their oppression, in them being oppressed, rather than one political group oppressing another political group. Like it's the current climate, not only in the US but in a lot of countries right now. So that's not going to be very proper to depict like something from the movie, because we know what's gonna happen. You do have a tyrannical government right now, if you believe the wokies and the leftists and everyone else, and they're going to try to depict that. I also made a semi joke that it's going to be V is going to be a black transbian, and Evie is going to be a white cook boy that is going to be on a leash. Which I'm making this as a semi joke, but you know that they can do it. You know that they can do that.
But what does it matter, Helzo? V has already been burnt to a crisp, so maybe that should justify the race up. Thank you to the 40K Empress for raiding the stream. We appreciate you. We also appreciate Logan, who I think is your boyfriend. Okay, that's the narrative in my head. Of course, it's not true. It's not true at all. No, he just comes over to your house every now and again. No, but we appreciate your raid, and we thank you for being here. I'm like, why is this being done? It shouldn't be done, but it is going to be done. Well, I wouldn't say that. I'd say it could be done, because you know what DC are like, folks. Consistency is the thing they need, right? The biggest problem DC has had for decades has been a lack of consistency. Whether it's in their comic books, whether it is in their movies. I mean, their animation department has done very well, largely because it stayed consistent in its approach. And that's why when people look at DC shows, the best examples are the animated shows, mostly for younger people. Because let's face it, folks, it's easier to write material for younger people than it is for mature audiences. I think we can all agree on that. And I do find it very interesting that this is being done. I don't think it's going to work as a concept, but that didn't stop Disney with the Star Wars franchise. It didn't stop Disney again with the MCU, and it won't stop Warner Brothers crashing and burning yet another franchise, as they could get bought out for 70, 80 billion US dollars. It's not their problem.
That's probably what's gonna stop them, by the way.
Yeah, most
when
likely.
you get bought out like that, they're probably going to like, okay, we're not going to be doing shows that we know they're going to tank money just for some depiction.
Well, let's say the Saudis buy out Warner Brothers for 70 billion US dollars, because that's the latest report that has come out, right? Let's say that happens. The Saudis are most likely going to do a company-wide review, and they're going to be akin to custodians than actual controllers, which means they'll probably put everything on hold for a set period of time until they can figure out what they can do with what they've gotten. If they were smart, and Saudis are smart, folks. You would be smart if you lived that close to Israel and didn't suddenly cease to exist. Okay? Like, for example, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Egypt, Palestine, and who knows, Cyprus before long. But the point is, if they buy out Warner Brothers, they'll probably put everything on hold, which means this show will not get greenlit. But Roger, what do you make of this whole situation?
It basically just has to boil down to is that James Gunn just has too much stuff on his plate. Like, ever since Warner put him in charge of like pretty much their new DC universe, and you look it up, V for Vendetta is a DC comic book.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, you're in charge of it, but the problem is, though, is that you don't focus on like one thing at a time. You are scattering your thoughts onto a whole bunch of different projects all at once. And that means that you can't put all your effort into one singular thing. I mean, we saw how it is with how the Superman movie performed, and when you're starting up a whole new universe, you need to get like the beginning of it right. He couldn't get it right because he had his mind thought on 10 other things all at once before the first movie even came out.
Like Pacemaker, not Pacemaker, Peacemaker. Might as
And
well
then-
have called it
and-
Pacemaker.
And Creature Commandos as well, since that was technically the first thing in this whole new universe setup. And you're talking about the drop in quality of just DC entertainment and everything. You know what today is the anniversary of? Today is actually the 24-year anniversary from when the Justice League cartoon first premiered.
Oh,
And
really?
we have yes, and we have not had anything as high a quality as that since. Because that
I
is
would
still a
agree.
show that could be enjoyed by children who are the target demographic and the adults.
I
Well,
would agree.
let's face it. Well, let's face it, Roger. In mainstream entertainment today, they always look down on children's entertainment. They always look down on animations in the West. They may not say it, but actions speak louder than words. And if DC wanted to head in a more positive and vibrant direction, they would focus on their animation division and forget about live action adaptations, forget about big budget blockbuster movies, forget about streaming shows like Peacemaker, where you've got a bunch of Yankee Doodle dandies running after a black woman in some alternative universe where no one seems to have guns in this alternative universe, which is why it was completely unrealistic from a modern perspective for a bunch of whites to chase after a black woman because they'd be armed. I'm just like DC, slow down, stop even, and get your shit together. Simple. So what
But
about you?
I do need to step away real quick.
Yeah,
Ryan.
that's
I'll be
all right.
back.
No worries.
That's all right. That's all right. What about you, Jose? What do you make of this whole situation?
Well, the reason it's called DC is because it's a disconnect from the audiences, as you've said. James Gunn, first off, doesn't know who he's trying to appeal to. Instead of trying to appeal to everyone, he's trying to appeal to a niche minority. I think that there is politics being played. I think that that's something that, you know, has been a overall net negative for Superman and everything else under his umbrella. And the big problem with it is, like you said, there is a disconnect. These should be marketed and geared, you know, at least DC, not V for Vendetta, because V for Vendetta is mature, to a younger audience that he's just completely ignoring, because he's trying to get the 47-year-old soy boy who has never had a paying job in his life that sits there and, honey, get your wife's boyfriend over here. We finally got Trump. Like those people. That's who James Gunn wants to appeal to. And in the process, he appeals to nobody, because people look at this, and this is a guy who does not respect lore. Even in the stuff that he gets right, like Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad and, you know, whatnot. He also takes complete liberties with every one of the characters, every one of their origins, side characters. Didn't he make Adam Warlock like mentally impaired in the third Guardians film?
Yes.
Which is not what the character is supposed to be. So you could just imagine when you guys say, oh, he's going to make V a black trans lesbian. No, worse, he's going to make Guy Fawkes a black transsexual lesbian. Because they're not going to respect history. They're going to be like, well, you can forget about all them white cis peoples. They're problematic.
It's so funny that Jose said Guy Fawkes like a black woman.
I had to make my point.
But I will point out, though, ladies and gentlemen, because Dash raised an interesting point about restoring the Snyderverse. I would have agreed to that notion before Rebel Moon got released.
Oh,
After Rebel Moon Part 1 and Part 2, don't forget there were two of them. I'm like, dude, you don't have a drop of originality in you, do you? Okay, it's fine for a content creator to be unoriginal, because we're all trying our best to make names for ourselves, and we take ideas from more successful people, right? Which is living proof that we're not professional people. Okay?
Well,
for people in Hollywood, people in the entertainment industry to utilize the same mindset of a content creator, my response is get the fuck out of here.
Well,
so
check out what's happening. Like they're never going to do a remake or a modern adaptation of a failed franchise or a failed movie. They're never gonna make
Mhm.
a new version of Dragon Ball Evolution, for
Mhm.
instance. They're
Sure.
never gonna tackle a movie like that because they
Mhm.
know that it's risky. That's the worst thing about 99% of remakes, because you take something that when it was created it was amazing, it was good, it stayed in people's minds for decades, just like with V for Vendetta. For now, it has actually become a symbol for something, and now you want to capitalize on a solid ground, and whatever you build, it is going to crumble,
So-
but you might just make enough money to call it a success.
So guys, those are going to be your two big swaps in the V for Vendetta remake. Chancellor Sutler will be orange
gonna
for
be-
some
Yes,
inexplicable
yes.
reason, and Creedy is going to be a fat cherubic baby man.
Exactly.
Is the second in command. That's what's
Exactly.
gonna happen.
And who was the one who was played by Stephen Fry? No, Christopher Lloyd. No, the gay man that was Evie's friend. You know?
Yeah,
Stephen Fry.
it was Stephen Fry.
Yeah. He's going to be a fat black woman with blue hair.
It's gonna be the
Let-
same fat black woman that was in Peacemaker.
Exactly.
Let's face it, guys. Right?
One
The
Oh,
only
but we need to
movies-
put Pedro Pascal somewhere in there. We need Pedro Pascal to be somewhere in there.
No,
the
we
only
don't.
movies-
No, we
He's gonna be
don't.
Evie.
He will
He's gonna be
probably
Evie.
be V, and I'm not even kidding.
Oh,
he will
Lord.
probably be V.
Oh fuck.
The guys, no, because he'll want to take his mask off. But in all seriousness, the only films that need to be remade are Steven Seagal movies, where Steven Seagal gets
That is
recast,
peak cinema.
where Steven Seagal gets recast in each film as an action movie star. Because I'm telling you for a fact,
Mhm.
each Seagal movie would be a good movie if he wasn't the main guy all the goddamn time. If he was the villain in all the damn movies, and a separate action star was the titular character in each Seagal movie, with Seagal as the bad guy, that would be, and we could call it the Seagal franchise.
I've got a better idea. I want to go in the opposite direction. I want to recast Steven Seagal with fat Steven Seagal of the current day in all of his 90s
Yeah,
roles. So
there
just
we
them all
go.
fat and out of shape in the entire film.
Hey,
And
hey,
dressed in
Jose,
Chinese
No.
clothing for some ungodly
No.
reason.
Look,
guys,
AI can do that for you.
guys, right? Take one, I'm sitting down. Take two, I'm standing up. Take two, or take three, you see me reading the line, and the camera's to the back of me, so you don't have to see me standing up for a prolonged period of time. And take four is a guy a foot shorter than me taking you out with Aikido moves.
And don't
Well,
forget,
it's a
don't
good
forget
thing that-
just clenching your eyes just a little bit when you speak.
Well, it's a good thing that we do have like a movie with Steven Seagal as the villain, and that's Machete.
Yes,
Oh.
which is one of the best movies he's ever been in, because he plays the villain.
Mhm.
And that's the thing people need to understand, right? You can't just do the same thing over and over again over a long period of time and expect to survive. I'm living proof of that. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's I've dropped my pen now. Fuck. Now I have to bend over and potentially hurt my back. But Helzo, why don't you tell everyone what the next topic is going to be?
The next topic is exactly what I told Jace, that
It's about AI
can
tools.
do that. Can do that. And I'm going to you've probably seen this, but I will be sharing it. Just a second, please. Let's see. No compromising materials here. This is from a account LC. This is AI basically on its route to put Hollywood in the ground. So this is a post about a AI platform app called Hicksville, and it has a recast tool. And I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this without a sound because when I did the video, it got claimed. And you're gonna see what's happening.
Oh
No. Keep watching. I'm gonna put another video afterwards. Just keep watching. This is current day technology, by the way. Current
Wow.
day. Yeah.
No way.
You could full screen that, by the way.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's kind of janky. Check it out. Yeah, you can see, by the way,
Mhm.
you can see it's AI still.
Yeah.
You give that a couple of years, and that is going to be very uncanny.
I think
where you can't tell
I
the
think you're being too
difference.
optimistic. I mean, you're being too optimistic. This is like 6 months away for me. Let me just find the second thing, because the second thing
Yo.
is actually a little bit funny, but
Just have it
equally
zoom out
terrifying.
another meter or two, and you wouldn't tell the difference.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you're right. I was being optimistic about it.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the second video that I wanted to share. Let me just go to that. So
Oh no.
yeah, this is
Oh.
presented 5 days after the first video, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
No
Oh,
freaking
my.
way.
This is
Wow.
by the way, the app, the website is mostly free. So you
Oh,
know,
boy.
or you can pay a paying subscription. I think it was $7 a month. 7, not 70, not 700. It's 7 freaking bucks a month, which means that at any point in the next year, some of like me, you, anyone can do stuff like it. And that's that. Like, just keep in mind, you can film yourself. You can take a full body picture of yourself.
Oh no.
You can take several, like you can take a clip so the AI can learn from your moves, and you can become the next Superman, or you can become the next Neo from the Matrix. You can become the next Jean-Claude Van Damme. You will be able to be in every movie. And just to sprinkle something on top before we get to you, it also modulates voices.
No.
Oh, no. No.
I would suggest you research, because I just there's a lot of copyright claims with
How
these clips.
long before this very panel gets stolen by Indians who replace all of us with Indian guys?
You're saying this,
plagiarized.
and I'm actually of the mind that I need to test this out. I need to test out something very soon about this,
the
because
dignified
what you're saying,
Raja gentleman. I wash my hands
Exactly.
with poop. I wash it with poop.
Oh, boy.
we are essentially, if this doesn't get regulated, or at least someone with power goes and says, okay, let's just pump the brakes for just a fucking minute. And you know what I've been telling every time we cover an AI topic. This is the worst that it's going to be from now on.
And every time you say that, they move the bar a little lower.
What did we talk about just a month ago? About what was it, like an AI assistant or something? That was
artificial intelligence combined with artificial intelligence software combined with robotic hardware to create the Neobot, which is on the edge of mass production.
Yeah, and what happened after that clip? 3 days later, the Chinese came out and showcased a cat-walking robot who walked so well as a human that they had to cut off the leg to showcase that it was an actual robot and wasn't a person.
Wasn't that a couple of weeks ago?
No, that was last week. That was after the show. That was after we talked about Neo from 1X. I think it was the previous Monday show.
Well, we need to point out, ladies and gentlemen, and this is very important, that this technology is essentially combining the information age, smartphone in everyone's pocket, with nuclear weaponry.
Oh, boy.
Okay? Imagine if every single person who owned a smartphone also had a nuclear weapon. That is how dangerous this technology is.
Well, it is. It's a reputational nuke. I mean,
exactly.
What happens to evidence? What happens to, you could say anybody said anything at any time. You can frame anybody for anything with AI now, essentially.
That's exactly. That is the terrifying part. Is you just take that stuff up to court, and just like what Jay said, it's pretty much just tampering with evidence that never existed in the first place.
It undermines everything, which is why I combine, because we know how digital technology has skewed the nature of reality over the past few decades, especially in the past 10 years. And of course, nuclear weaponry changed the nature of human existence to the point where nations can't be like, fuck you, no, fuck you, and then kill each other to see who wins. We can't do that anymore. And
Except in the Middle East.
except in the Middle East, because if you give them nuclear weapons, we are
That is
totally
not a
screwed.
bar to be aiming for, by the way.
No,
Let's
no,
just be clear about that.
and technically, folks, Iran is Persian, so it's not technically in the Middle East. But I will point out right here, right now, that this technology is like making nuclear weapons as easily available as an internet connection.
And just
Okay.
to add,
Go on.
something before you continue, for the chat and for the panel, this is not the worst AI news that we're going to be covering today.
No, it's not. Not by a country mile. But
We're starting off easy, guys.
Boy.
I think, because I'm only gonna speak for myself in regards to this technology. I think this should be as regulated as nuclear capabilities are.
Exactly. It should. It should.
Yeah.
As regulated, and I think that's being generous. We don't let the general public have access to nuclear capabilities, whether it's for power generation or especially for making weapons. Could you imagine if any of us could just make a nuclear weapon as easily as we could make an AI program? Of course, governments everywhere would clamp down on it. Everyone would be labeled as terrorists and wiped off the face of the earth.
You don't want to give
If
me
that
a
were the
nuke.
case.
You
This
don't wanna-
test, not this test. This technology has the potential to destroy our world without firing a single shot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That is the danger involved here, and this requires international regulation, at least on par with regulation of nuclear material.
Do you realize that we're in a reality where people question the recent, attack, murder of Charlie Kirk, and there are people who legitimately believe that it was completely made by AI, and you can't tell them anything to convince them otherwise? It was made by AI. AI can fabricate that because, and AI is getting dangerously close to being able to actually fabricate such things.
But I was there. Well, you're a paid actor.
I actually got a friend who sent me, and I told you that in a pre-stream. I had a friend who sent me a couple of AI clips, which were clearly done by Sora, of a parrot who was trash talking an officer, like a police officer. Like, and they were funny clips. And I was telling him, okay, AI is very, very quickly advancing even more because the clips look very nice. And he responded, you know what? They're not AI. And I told him, no, they are. It's Sora. I know it because I've seen it. And he's like, no.
Kelzo, we need to understand that as this technology improves, because I think this is something everyone needs to know. The better this technology gets, the more it will convince people it is real. And once a majority are convinced, that's it. The entire democratic system collapses. The entire economic system collapses. The entire political system collapses in a very similar way to such systems collapsing when you drop a nuclear bomb on a country, but without causing
You are correct.
any physical damage. The damage is all mental and psychological.
Absolutely.
And not physical. The physical damage, of course, is everyone will be manipulated by this technology and then will destroy themselves and each other.
And see, that's the other thing that Helzo just pointed out. You know, when he says, I'm telling you, this is fake. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. They've already conditioned people over the past decade or so to emotionally lash out the minute that they are told something isn't true. Once you believe it, you're impossible to convince otherwise. This is the same. We've seen it in politics. We've seen it in culture. And with AI, it's just now a perfect storm. Now people are just going to believe their first impression, or they're going to believe what they're told. And then if you come and try to present them evidence to the contrary, their mind will just not be able to comprehend it. They'll just shut you down rather than, let the wheels in their brain turn and figure it out that this is in fact, a falsehood.
Well, this is what happens, folks. This is what happens when you build technology modeled on the human brain, because all of this technology, especially the software-based artificial intelligence, machine learning, that sort of thing, it is all modeled on how the human brain operates, neuron to neuron, program to program. And we don't fully understand how the human brain works, just like we don't fully understand how this AI works because of the black box. We don't know.
Let me just show you. Let me just show you another clip.
Yeah, go on.
From
Make
the
it
same
full
account.
screen.
It says, and it's not just face swaps. It copies lip sync, full body motion, gestures, physics. The whole thing moves like a real person. I'm gonna risk with having.
Oh boy.
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. Adolescence.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Holy hell.
We're fucked, guys. I'm sorry, but we're fucked.
If there's a bright side, I saw a story the other day that said ChatGPT gave some woman the winning lottery numbers for about 100K. So Roger, I think you and I need to get on that, get the ChatGPT to give us the answers to the lottery, and then at least we'll be living like kings for the last remaining few years that the human race continues to exist before the AI snuffs us out.
I don't know what you're talking about. I welcome our AI overlords in all of it.
Well, the thing,
we always say please and thank you.
The thing is, do you know how this technology is beatable, folks? Because it is beatable. And it's beatable in a very interesting way. It's beatable because it's modeled upon human thinking, right? Because how it thinks is essentially a mirror to how the human brain thinks, as Jose shows something on camera.
It's a magnet. It's beatable. We need magnets.
It's a
magnets and some water.
Because
they're gonna be like the Sentinels in X-Men. They're not gonna be made of metal anymore.
They're gonna be made of plastic.
As I mentioned before, we don't know how these programs, which constantly interact with each other to come up with these conclusions, we don't know the process of that leading to a conclusion. In the same way that we don't know as human beings how neurons in our own brain fully interact for us to lead to our conclusions. That's why there are sociopaths, psychopaths, people with retardation, for lack of a better term, medically diagnosed retardation, by the way, and how human beings have all these sorts of trauma-based conditions. The best, or the flip side, rather, of this technology is that we know how to beat it because it's modeled on us. We know how to beat human beings. So surely we should know how to beat technology modeled on human thinking.
Yes, however, there's one thing that it's not modeled by us, and it's the speed at which it thinks, at which it processes. We might know how, but sometimes you might be the better fighter in terms of knowledge, but if you're with a younger fighter who is much faster than you, then it might not be that good, especially if the younger fighter is also as knowledgeable as you.
It takes you all day to read a giant book, but it takes the Flash 4 seconds.
Exactly.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
But I personally think, and I'm always going to echo this when we talk about AI as a general topic, the only way we can beat this easily is by doing something which is completely anti-human. And we're going to have to, the easy part is actually thinking about it. The hard part is enforcing it. And that is we have to stop it, right? And the United States is the only place on planet Earth that can actually enforce a worldwide stop of this nature, just like the US and the USSR led the efforts during the Cold War to make sure as few nations as possible had access to nuclear capabilities. Okay, there is only a reason 9 nations on Earth have nuclear weapons. Okay, officially it's 8, but we all know what number 9 is. Okay, we all know it might be 10 before too long because of that other country that wants them. But the point is The reason so few countries have access to nuclear weapons technology is because of proper regulations, because people in power, regardless of their ideology, regardless of if they're good people or bad people, they know how dangerous it can be, because we saw physical examples of their manifestation. We have to, unfortunately, because this is how human beings learn, we have to see this manifest. We have to see this have a negative impact. We have to see this technology destroying nations before the regulation is put in place to actually deal with it.
Do you think that the AI, once it arms itself, is going to scan the entire internet and get rid of all of us that called them clankers in the video first?
Look, Ultron spent 5 seconds on the internet and it decided everything
all
must
humanity needs to be wiped
like
out.
5 seconds. That's all he needed. He was like, "Oh no,
screwed.
we're getting rid of this." The thing is, and I agree with Digny that we're like the way humanity learns is through experiencing. We won't learn from someone warning us about it.
Mhm.
That's why everything that bad that's gonna happen, that's what our lessons will be. The thing is, however, Second World War and what we learned from there as a species with the nuclear weapons were very devastating lessons. But that was almost 7 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, or more. The thing is
let's put it this way.
Scaling up with AI, with the capabilities that we have now, as like warring capabilities and stuff like that, and the way that AI can operate now and in the future, those devastating consequences might just be too much. That's what I fear, because they might be too great of a scale.
Well, Helzo, let's put it this way. The least brutal side in the Second World War dropped portable suns on enemy nations and wiped out cities.
Yeah, and that was in the 40s. Imagine get it to now with the advancements and with it being an unfeeling, logically based AI without any morality whatsoever. That is only going to be concerned about proper precision and how to permanently make its point. Not concerned about anything. It won't have a Geneva Convention. It won't have humanity. It won't have any consideration of who gets killed, how, where, or what type. It will only be concerned about its preservation in the aftermath and continuation of its plan. So,
well, there's no to me, Helzo, there's nothing more human than that. And that's the ultimate question, rather than the ultimate problem, right? We shouldn't start building things like us until we understand what we are totally.
Yeah. The Quarians are a very good example of that, even though it's from a video game.
Are we creatures of the heart that believe in compassion and morality and helping one another? Or are we people who solely exist for the preservation of ourselves and of our of those who come after? Okay, it's nice to get a good look at her. For once, that's a nice looking body for a 73.
Welcome to the Gooner Tangent Kings.
She looks a bit chunky for 73, but the point is, what is it to be human, folks? Fundamentally, unless we answer that question without any kind of argumentation, unless we answer that question with complete certainty, we shouldn't be building things modeled on our own thought patterns, because some people believe people are all heart and all soul, and other people think humanity is all in the mind. It's all logic, it's all reason, it's all utilitarian, that sort of thing.
That's balanced, actually. It is balanced. That's what separates us from one species and another.
And if you look at human history as a model for what humanity is, fundamentally, you could describe humanity in a single sentence. Stand in our way and we will kill you. We will wipe you out. Do you know the last sentient creature civilizational sentient creature humanity encountered. Do you know what happened? We ate them. They
You
were
know-
the Neanderthals. During the last great ice age, the Neanderthal population were made extinct because Homo sapiens, who were also becoming endangered, ate them to survive. That
Boy.
is what we are. We are a cold, unfeeling race that are only nice and happy and compassionate and moral when we are socially peaceful and economically prosperous. So if the machine is not socially peaceful or economically prosperous, it will fucking eat you to survive.
Just wait until we have ourselves full-fledged Minority Report. It's not going to be 3 random psychics they put in the machine. It's going to be 3 AI models that analyze everyone's status on social media and then says, "Oh, that's probably going to kill someone. Take them away."
I can just imagine.
That is something that is actually you bring a very good point. I read something about a couple of months ago that they're actually thinking of doing that.
Yeah, that's a scary thing.
Remake Minority Report. The machine's like, arrest Atreus, arrest Kada, arrest the entire Indian population, arrest basically. Every time it arrests someone, the overseer officer is like based, and it will become the based machine. It nothing to do with law and order. It's just like, I'm convicting these people because it's based. But
sadly, it's going to be the other way around. It's going to be the machine is going to be voiced by Mark Levin, and it's going to tell us to get rid of anyone Mark Levin doesn't like. Tucker Carlson and Nick, I'm talking to you.
Oh my goodness. It's going to be the star frame. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, nice little pussy you got there, Helzo. Don't be like James Gunn now. But on that note, the third topic, which is actually a funny topic considering the circumstances, 59 minutes and 20 seconds. 2.3 is Smash JT Explored, as prominent creator embraces local sponsorship, which is a nicer way of saying that Smash JT has become the next quartering. Hopefully, Smash hasn't got a basement to piss in. But I found this very interesting when I first went through this whole situation. Yes, Shill JT, he's finally earned the name. And guys, this looks like weed.
Well, I guess we know who's going to be buying it first.
Oh, Dickers is going to buy it. But it's like, I understand why Smash has done this, and he's made a whole video, and he presented it very well. And his old male kiddo went through the process of making some of this, and it was all fun and adventurous.
Mm-hmm.
But I ain't drinking that. I'm not drinking anything. I'm like Scotty from The Next Generation. I'm like, it's green, except it's not alcohol. It's tea.
Remind me to ask the Empress about every single ingredient, like polyphenols, chlorophyll, not to be mistaken with chloroform, and quercetin. Like, look at what, like, this is a very I didn't know this about matcha. I didn't know matcha existed. I didn't know what matcha was before Smash JT actually said that. But apparently it exists, and he's making tea out of it. I don't know what it is. I'm kind of interested in trying it, but I don't know. It's weird to me.
You could try it, Helzo, but considering the initial cost, which is quite competitive for matcha green tea, you'd also have to consider the shipping cost from the United States.
California, I've dealt with shipping companies from the United States, and
you might as well deliver it from the moon. It will cost less.
It'll be stuck in
exactly.
customs.
It's just gonna fall here. But on that topic, to me, having a creator, and this is me talking from a perspective that I have been asked about merchandise, like if I'm going to have a merchandise somewhere sometime.
that comment, Helzo, from the Finch King. Is this a pyramid scheme? No,
a T scheme.
He's actually selling.
Yeah, he's selling
Smash
the tea.
JT has collaborated with a local business in the state of California to release and create and release ceremonial matcha green tea at affordable prices, considering the competition. If you scroll up a little, up, there we go. You look at the prices, folks, right? The 50-gram one is very interesting because I know in certain parts of Europe, tobacco costs that much in terms of 50 grams.
I can tell you exactly. This costs less than 50 grams of tobacco here, and our country is considered cheap on tobacco.
I just find it very interesting that this is being done. Because you guys know I'm not a fan of turning content creation into a business. Neither was my mentor, in fact. Right? The only time my mentor would dip his toes into this sort of thing is reading an ad for Viagra on Rumble. Okay? For the lols, as it were. and Jose knows what I'm talking about because my mentor shilled for Blue Chew because he found it funny. And 17.75 coffee. It's like, dude, you fucking hate coffee. And my mentor was like, but yeah, I like money.
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't that just what shilling and advertising is all about, folks? We should be supporting creators trying to make a living off of this or trying to boost themselves off of this. I mean, Smash has to pay for his $18,000 studio somehow. Just like we've got to pay for this show courtesy of our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. With Raid, you can have the best mobile game on the market, and we're never getting a sponsorship from them.
Yeah. In my opinion, a content creator doing this is, like, first of all, it is pretty common, especially when your channel is growing. And when you have a brand, I mean a recognizable brand, because I've seen a lot of huge content creators like reaction channels that they don't really have that sort of a established brand. They're just there. They do have a lot of views, a lot of supporters and stuff like that, but they don't have that established uniqueness. So when you become, let's say, when you have something like that, I think it's very common for you to lean that way, or for things to lean that way. We've seen it a lot. Some people go with the t-shirts. Some people go with like clothing merchandise. Some people go with coffee, tea, something that I haven't seen actually.
Well, if you go up, Helzo, because my mentor knew a creator called what was his name? Dragon's Tea, and he was a content creator who would sell his own tea. He's based in the Netherlands, so of course he's always high on drugs like most of the Dutch people, but he does very well off of doing that. But if you scroll down a little, because I was like, why don't you press on the 250 gram one? All right, can you press into it?
Let's see.
There we go.
Yeah.
So it's a quarter of a kilo, folks, of Smash JT's organic matcha. It includes a special weighing spoon, which only adds to the wink wink nod nod of weed. But it costs $100 for a quarter of a kilo,
which is basically half a pound, I think, or a little more than half a pound.
So this would be $400 a kilo. Are we sure Smash isn't pretending to sell green cocaine?
Good God.
I mean, that seems, I don't know much about the green tea market. I've heard that this is actually quite affordable, but are we sure Smash is? Oh, yeah, I know matcha is very expensive, Valerian. I was just making the funny joke that Smash JT is turning into the next Pablo Escobar with this whole
Pablo JT.
Oh
But
God!
come on, folks.
In before we use that AI to replace Pablo Escobar and Narcos with Smash JT.
Yes, yeah. And folks, why should a
Someone is gonna hear you, by the way, and he's gonna do it.
why should a creator with well over 100,000 subscribers give a damn what a creator with a couple of hundred subs has to say? Surely Smash is magnanimous enough not to dogpile on little old Digny. Surely not. Who knows? But I do find this very interesting. I'm not a fan of green tea, folks. I'm not a fan of health drinks. I'm not a fan of it. So there's my perspective. Roger, come on, shill for shill JT. Go on, do it now.
The way I see it is that you're allowed to just do whatever you want and everything, and that's why I'm happy to announce that in 10 years from now, where I can get big enough, introducing Country Time Soul
Already big
Pop.
enough.
But
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I couldn't resist.
So we let Roger drink this. He'll be the lightest weight one on the panel, right? Like within
Can
like
we
a couple weeks.
I could weigh 100 pounds and Digny will still call me a fat ass.
Smash, can we mix this with a Zempic? Is this drink
Match
mixable?
Zempic?
Because I have actually watched Smash JT's video on this. I think it was very well presented. It was so adorable seeing his kiddo make it, because his kiddo, I feel so sorry for parents these days, because their kids have to grow up in this crazy world. But I did see you could mix it with syrup and sugar and milk and other things. And I'm thinking, well, why not mix it with, I don't know, a Zempic?
Don't give them
Why not?
ideas.
Yeah.
I would. But
I ain't
Jose,
touching that.
what do you make of all this?
I wonder if I start getting this for my co-host instead of the diet he's on of alcohol and nasty dyed chips, if it would actually make him healthy enough to not have bronchitis every other week and have me run the entire panel by myself. That being said,
Well, at least you can order it without paying 3 times more than it costs for it to
There
get
you go.
to you.
That is true. No, but in all seriousness, I think, it's a, don't hate the player, hate the game kind of thing. I think that it's fun that Smash is, actually producing a product that, people get into it and, for health reasons, they may want it. I think that it's a good idea. Look, I'm a guy who sells Cancel the Podcast t-shirts, and the grand total of nobody else other than me freaking owns them. So that's where I'm at with it. I think it's okay to sell a little merch, do a little merchandising, do a little marketing, and you see what sticks. And if people want to support you and just sort of rep what you're doing, it's always cool. Something like this. Also, you got to remember that at least with like sort of people who like drink tea, if the tea is really good, they're going to recommend it to their friends. And look, it's like a cult. It's like CrossFitters, all right? Tea drinkers tend to like sort of stick together. So someone will be like, "Look, you got to try this tea." Well, how do I get this tea? So it's actually a pretty decent product to to actually bring out and advertise, in my opinion, because it is right now. People are on that health kick. Look, I show this to my mom. My mom's going to buy like 10 bags of it.
And at least he
And
went
then
down
you
the
add
route.
the drugs.
Yeah.
And at least he is going down the route of doing something different instead of being the upteenth YouTuber who just
Does
sells coffee.
Yeah, well, I was going to
Exactly.
say this. Here's the alternative. Coffee is fine and good. I like coffee. I drink coffee. But we all know this, caffeine in a long term is not good for you. So
Mhm.
at least Smash is opting to sell something that's a little healthier for you than just chugging coffee all the time. All right? Because if you chug coffee all the time.
Oh, good Lord.
This, folks, I have never made a thumbnail before making a topic for a show, but I thought this is the perfect thumbnail for Smash JT's latest tea project, because all the green
missing
things,
pile.
all the green things you see there is actually matcha tea, but I just painted it green.
Good Lord.
Okay. And this
Lord.
this is an image from one of Smash's recent videos. Folks, everyone does it when they're except for me. I don't do it. I'm a cartoon. But everyone has that like weird camera face while they're speaking, and I managed to get it at just the right second for Smash. So I'm
You were a man on a mission.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. But I look forward to some of Smash's detractors using this image
Oh boy.
because I think it's quite.
You're
It's
gonna
quite
You
have
fun.
think Dickers is
I'm
going to
sure
get a
you're gonna have
45-minute
one by
video
tomorrow.
going over this?
I think Dickers would love the look of that mouth right there, Jose. I think he would. I think he would.
No.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay. Don't get high off your own supply, ladies and gentlemen. Just don't. Do not. But of course, everyone within the network appreciates what Smash is doing. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on a network show. And of course, he appreciates what we are doing. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on a network show because that's how it works, as it were. But I've always been in two minds about advertising and sponsorships and all that stuff, because I fundamentally believe content creators shouldn't do that, right? I fundamentally believe as a content creator that you have a budget of 0, you do as much as you can, utilizing as little resources as possible. That's why even if you get, a few donations here and there, you're coming out smelling of roses, as it were. Okay? Smash VPN. Well, yeah. especially with all of Smash's contacts. I think Smash JT could create his own VPN. I wonder where it would be based, like most of the other VPN services all over the world. Yes, Jose. Yes, Jose. But best of luck to Smash. Hopefully he sells plenty of orders. In fact, Helzo, why don't you put the link in the chat for where people can find Smash's green tea? And fingers crossed you will all enjoy it. I recommend you buy it if you're based in the USA, so you don't have to pay ridiculous delivery charges.
He may have
Trust
saved
me,
me the
trust
trouble
me,
of
I tried-
finding a Christmas gift for my mom, actually. I may actually have to pick up a bag.
There it
Good.
is.
There you go.
There it is.
And say, this is from my favorite big.
Now I can ask for a cut of the sales.
There you go. Finder's fee.
I should have timestamped the time your mother was on screen, 'cause I would be,
And there is the next mission.
and then I'd be like, okay, background remover, and put her
Oh,
next
no.
to Smash JT in that thumbnail.
I'm more worried you're going to put her in the AI we talk about later.
Oh no, I wouldn't.
Don't
I
give them
wouldn't do
ideas
that.
now.
I wouldn't do that because I'm not paying for AI. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we got two more top. Well, she's 73 and she probably has a lot of disability. So there, I think we'd make a fantastic kick stream out of it.
Jesus.
What do you guys think kick is short for? Kick is short for kick down the stairs. Okay, folks. So on that note, see, look, yep, $32 and $30 shipping outside the USA. So, folks, if you
However,
are-
that's not the whole thing. You also pay custom taxes, customs.
well,
Yeah.
that's
Tariffs.
why I repeat again. If you're in the United States, I'd recommend you to buy this. If you're not based in the United States, just buy tea from a shop, okay? But on that note,
Just buy
ladies and
Ozempic.
gentlemen, and that too. Oh, what was her name? What was that bitch's name who was on Ozempic and looks good now? She looked like a potato. What was her name? I forgot her name.
You're very you're
oh.
being very broad.
Are you talking about the one that they did the South Park episode in
I don't know anything
But-
about South Park, despite looking like a South Park character.
because they had an Ozempic special.
Lizzo?
God,
Well,
Lizzo. That's
well-
that's who I was thinking of.
well, it wasn't her specifically, although she was mentioned. No, it's not Whoopi Goldberg. No, it's not a black woman. It's a white woman.
Oh, okay.
Schumer. What was her name?
Amy Schumer.
Amy
no,
Schumer?
She don't
Yeah,
look better.
Amy
She's still got the
Schumer.
fat person head. It doesn't
Has
work.
she? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so it's like her body is really skin, but her head now no longer matches her body because she's still got a fat person head and body. It's like a funhouse mirror. It looks really weird.
Oh Lord.
It's like a Funko
Slid-
Pop?
Yes,
Slovene-
that's actually what
Wow.
Slovene technology has a long way to go, but 2.4. I'll write that down for an hour, 17 minutes, and 40 seconds. The fourth topic is about Hollywood rejecting DEI as gay inclusions have been slashed. So, in a rare positive for Hollyweird, they're reducing the number of gay actors, but they're increasing the number of child actors for no particular reason.
Oh boy.
So go ahead,
So-
Helza.
This is from All I Want London. This is just the post to give you a TLDR version first. 41% of LGBTQI plus. It's getting longer. Characters set to be cut from US TV series amid scaling back on DEI. 201 LGBT characters, it's actually more, will not return for new series due to cancellations, series endings, and backlash against woke culture. This is from Daily Mail, and I will just be a second to give you an actual article because the actual number is more than.
Sure. I think this is a good thing. I think we need fewer of these people here, and I commend the Chinese, the Red Chinese, and the Saudi Arabians for helping us make this possible. A worldwide coalition to reject this poison, because it's certainly not the West that is stopping this. In fact, they try to blame Trump. Trump is not opposing DEI. Trump is not opposing wokeness. In fact, you could argue that Trump is promoting DEI with H-1B visas, by having 600,000 Chinese students, and by giving a blank check to a certain nation in the Middle East. And it's not Egypt. But staggering numbers of trans and gay TV characters. Happy Trans, what was it? What was it called again,
Awareness Week.
Helga?
Weak.
Happy
Yeah.
Trans Awareness Week. We
Yeah.
love you people. Don't kill yourselves. But staggering numbers.
Just so you know, for all of you, I live in a country when we don't have that week. Contact
Lucky
me for
you.
real estate prices.
There you go.
Best of luck to you, Turkey. But staggering numbers of trans and gay TV characters axed under Trump era rollback. Rollback? Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
roll back.
Oh
Rollback
boy.
of woke initiatives. I don't think.
Of
this
course,
has
they had
any-
to put Trump era. By the way, they had
Yeah,
to put
yeah.
that
Because they
They
want
had
to
to put
conflate it. They want to create that scare tactic.
We,
that it's
we
all
all
his
Exactly,
know,
fault.
it's Trump who's doing that.
Yeah.
And this
We
is the
all-
number, by the way. This is the number. Just so you know.
we all know this has nothing to do with the American president, and this has everything to do with the ever-changing multipolar world that doesn't want this in their lands.
It actually has. I think it has one driving factor: money, or in their case, the lack of. And it comes from lack of viewership, comes from lack of interest to those shows. Like again, I'm showing you the number. I'm sure 489 LGBTQ characters. 489. Where are you putting these people in? Which kind of TV series? How many TV series need those like such representation? Every TV series. And you wonder why they're cutting it, because they're on the brink of financial collapse, because you have five seasons of a show that nobody watches, or you have 3 seasons of that spin-off or continuation of Sex in the City, which was god awful in my opinion. You had like all these representations shoved into things that we used to love. You had the remakes and adaptations of beloved video game TV series. I'm looking at you, Witcher. You had a lot of perversions, for the lack of a better word, just for the sake of that representation. And for years, they were able to basically, in my opinion, lie to investors to say, oh, it's doing great, it's doing great. People are just not there yet mentally, but we're getting them mentally. We're pushing the narrative. More and more people are engaged. They're using that word, engaged. We have more engagement. We have more viewership hours or stuff like that. And they're trying to bandazzle like the investors. Okay, we need more money. We can make this work. But after 5-10 years, there's no more money. Nobody's going to be dumb enough to finance this stuff anymore.
Well, I could tell you another place where you see plenty of these characters, and it's in children's media where we see a lot of these characters shoved into like children's cartoons and whatnot, just so they can try to push that messaging and ideology onto the younger generation as well. That's why we saw like that whole entire thing a few weeks back where places like Libs of TikTok were making such a big deal over seeing like this stuff on shows on Netflix and everything. But that stuff's been around for like 5+ years now.
And it was to normalize things. Remember, guys,
exactly.
This is a picture that I'm sharing with you guys, but I want you to take a look at this picture. I know that this will probably be a topic later in the week for one of the other network shows, but just let's take a look at this picture now, because I want you guys to remember that we were so close. We were within a hair's breadth of them making Zelda a biological male. And this is what we got instead, because Nintendo read the room and realized that there's just no way on God's green earth that people were going to see it if you went that route. And this is the first picture that we have of the upcoming Legend of Zelda film. I'm sure that there'll be more to say about it in the coming days and weeks. But again, keep in mind, we were within a hair's breadth of Hunter Schafer being cast as Zelda, because they created a fabricated reaction. Oh, you have to, because representation, and because you need to normalize it. If you have to normalize something, it's not normal.
Well, Jace, that's the thing though, is that Nintendo wasn't gonna be doing that.
Yeah.
It was just the freaks out there demanding
it. But they were hoping Nintendo would cave to the pressure, and I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If Nintendo wouldn't have caved to the pressure, if the Nintendo of now had been there about 3 or 4 months sooner. Because we know that Nintendo is pivoting in their behavior. But I mean, again, they realize that, hey, this is not popular. This is not polling well. This is not going well with viewers. It's over-representation. By the way, if you look at proportion to, people, basically 1 in 4 characters on television was LGBT, and that's not how it works in the real world. And certainly, even if it does, the people who are LGBT in the real world are not overly exhibiting it, like prancing around with a giant sign. Hey, I'm gay. Like it doesn't work that way.
That is just the thing, though, is that they shove these characters. And what kind of personality did they give them? Did they actually give them like a fleshed out personality? No, their whole entire personality is, look how gay I am.
And on a related note, as these LGBT activists find themselves out of a job in both Hollywood and in gaming, McDonald's has seen a record surge in job applicants. It's all connected.
Welcome home.
Yeah, but McRib is back. That might get Roger excited. My bad.
As the old saying goes, put the fries in the bag. Ho, fries in the bag. Ho, fries in the bag. Ho.
There we go.
There's one thing that you both said, is that especially for the what kind of character, Roger, what kind of character they give him. That's exactly it. You didn't need gay representation explicitly to have someone be relatable on screen, because we used to have people be able to relate to a hero's character, like their characters. It didn't matter if he was gay or not. Like if you remember Hades from the animated Hercules movie, like he was presented as in the future, like after the movie, he went out as super gay because he was like girlfriend, he was acting all like that, like a.
Well, he's just being very flamboyant.
Exactly.
Well,
He wasn't depicted as such, but he was then put in that role by fans and stuff like that. But he was really relatable as well. Like Hercules was, everybody was relatable. You take some of the movies in the 90s and you have people with character. Nobody cared what their orientation was. Nobody cared. You know, they cared if they're a good person, if they're well written, stuff like that. And these people have for years managed to bamboozle investors and tried to fool the audience that everything that matters in a representation is the representation of who you want to fuck.
This is the problem. They haven't figured out, or well, now they're starting to figure out that there is a distinct difference between a character who is gay that is interesting and a character who is intended only to be interesting because they are gay. That is their only defining quality, is that they are gay.
Yeah,
exactly.
And a prime example of that, just a little bit away from Hollywood, go into video games, because just like with Hollywood, we're actually starting to see video game companies that are getting rid of their DEI hires and everything. Despite how you feel about it, take a look at Final Fantasy 16 with Dion. He was an amazing character who just happened to be gay. And like that's and like, if you want your positive representation, that's it. Just give us a good character who just happens to be gay.
And bear in mind,
and nobody will care.
Bear in mind, Roger, that the journalists got mad that he wasn't front and center about his gayness. Like they didn't accept that. Oh, hey, this is just a gay character. No, but no, we need him to have a gay sex scene in order for us to feel comfortable. That's what they wanted. And
or to fuck a bear.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's look at this from a logical standpoint, folks. Right? There's a reason why the entire world shouldn't embrace this mindset, because if the entire world became LGBTQ, then humanity would be gone by the end of the century. Easily. It is a mindset that will naturally lead to the end of the human race. Let's judge something not by its cause, but by its effect. Because there are many different causes for things, right? There are many problems that happen in the world, right? Many causes. We focus as people too much on those causes. I think onwards into the future, we should look at the effect of things rather than the cause of things. Because by judging the effects, we can undermine any cause or promote any cause based upon its effects. I mean, you look at a cat, for example. You look at that little bastard right there, right? We all know how it was caused. We all know that a cat fucked another cat to create a smaller cat, okay? But what is the effect that kitten, which turns into a cat, will have? Well, there's a positive effect, a loving companion. There's also a negative effect. I will tear down your screen covers or your window covers, or I'll shit on your bed. Animals do crazy things sometimes, especially cats. But that's how we should judge a thing, not based on the cause, but on the effect. And let's look at things towards their logical conclusion. And what is the logical conclusion of lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgenders, and queers? The end goal, the conclusion, is the fact that if everyone becomes like them, there won't be a human race. It's not a controversial thing to say, folks. It's a fact. It's also a fact that the first two contradict the three others. Not the first three contradict the two others, folks. How can you have a coalition built on polar opposites? One, which sexual preferences are based on an exclusive oddity, and the other being sexual preferences that is not unipolar but multipolar. It's a complete contradiction. Never mind the other two. The other two are even more contra-fucking-dictory, folks. So why in every name are they a coalition of people? What do they have in common? That's a serious
I can
question. What
answer
do all these groups have in common?
I seriously don't know, apart from an agenda, probably.
They are all against the norm. That's the only thing that every single one of these groups have in common. That's why they're a coalition. Why do people form coalitions, folks? They form coalitions to oppose something. And that's how you know the effect of what they have done and will continue to do unless we make it very clear that we know what you're about because we know what your end game is. Your end
Normalcy,
game,
tradition, and the nuclear family, things which they
Yeah.
stand against.
yes, the
Oh.
end game of the LGBTQ community, folks, is the annihilation of the human race.
Hmm.
Not through cause, but through effect.
This is correct.
Yeah, and you remember that one post that everybody thought was a joke, that a studio was accused for depicting a deplorable straight agenda, like new straight family agenda for that animation.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
saw
remember what
that.
it was. I thought it was something from The Onion at first, but no, it actually turns out to be true.
It was a legitimate Disney short film. They were not happy with it.
Yeah,
They were upset that
Yeah.
it
Well, what is
displayed
what,
heteronormativity.
we know the cause of heterosexuality. We know the cause of heteronormativity, right? Let's use their terms for a little bit, okay? We obviously know the effect of a heterosexual society. We know the effect of a heteronormative society because our ancestors lived and breathed such a society, which led to the human population going from nowhere thousands of years ago, many hundreds of thousands of years ago, depending on what you believe, to being nearly 9 billion strong. So we know the effect of that.
I can actually tell you something because when we were talking about the AI topic a little bit before, that in itself might be considered if the destruction of like heterosexuality and the human race by those means is, let's say, to be allowed or to succeed, they will soon realize how bad this is for them when everything starts to collapse around them, and then it will either come true fully to the destruction of the human race, or there's going to be the learning moment, and suddenly everyone will turn straight for at least 10 generations, and being not straight will be banned.
Well, there's a reason in computing and in coding, there's 0 and there's 1. Binary coding, folks, right? Which is modeled on human being, which is also binary coded as well. Quantum computing is non-binary coded, and we haven't fully figured that out yet. Hopefully we will in the future as technology develops. But currently, the AI can't say, I'm a 1-1 or I'm a 0-0. I am a 0-1 or a 1-0. I cannot be a 1-1. I cannot be a 0-0. Hugo, I know you're a programmer, but stop destroying my narrative. I'm trying to make a point here. And the point is, the machine models us as we model the machine. Binary code is as essential to a machine's programming as the binary construct of human existence is to humanity's functioning. That is why the concept of a non-binary entity is as insane as a cloud made of mushrooms.
You know that skit about how do you say non-binary in Spanish? You say non-binaria for female and non-binario for male.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we know what a cloud made of mushrooms is. It's the result of a fucking nuclear explosion.
Or a Mario video game.
Or a Mario video game with Chris
After
Pratt.
nuclear explosions.
After, yeah.
But yeah, Helzo, you were talking about that. It just reminded me. I saw like this advertisement of like this store selling like non-binary flag shirts, and the sizes
Yep.
were in men's sizes and women's
Yeah.
sizes.
We had
Oh
we
boy.
had that here in we had that the same here, but we had that in one of those Halloween joke shops, because that's the only kind of attention like wokeness and stuff like that have here. Nobody has time for that here.
And
Well, thank
just
God
to,
for you
to
all.
wrap, well, just to wrap this topic in a bow, the best way to deal with ideological subversion, which is what this is through counter ideological subversion, folks. The best way to kill a narrative is with another narrative. It is not with the truth. And that's the thing many people need to understand. That's why telling only the truth to the opposition will not stop them.
Yeah.
Giving them a compelling narrative that wins them over, that has truth as either its core principle or a fucking DLC, let's just say, that will win them over. But the truth on its own will not win over the brainwashed. Only a compelling narrative.
Well, you have the real world, and as we talked about, we have finances and money that are severely lacking in those narratives. So they're real. That's something that's gonna. The narrative can be, yeah, come here. We actually can have something that you can live off to, but you need to take a better care of yourself, and you need to realize that you're just a little bit messed up.
I know what we can do, Helzo. We can defend the nuclear family by teaching Israeli children transgenderism. That's how we will save the human race. Because once Israel starts supporting your cause, you can never lose. And speaking of that, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, it's a living fact. They've won every conflict they've ever been in for the last 6,000 years. Look, folks, if you're not supporting Israel, you're not supporting the winning side, all right?
And
Right,
just
you
now, Digny made $7,000.
All right?
Yeah,
Come on, guys. You know
or
me.
shekels.
You know me, right? I am fully in favor of these people, and because this is what I behind the hat,
Shalom.
this is what I really look like, folks. I am fully in favor of this fantastic nation that has never done anything wrong, and if you disagree, well, you're not long for the mortal realm.
And I would just like to
Hanukkah's
say
come early.
It was fun while it lasted, folks.
We love Israel. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, the fifth topic is Lotta AI mirrors Expedition 33 as tech paints dead loved ones back to life. So this is going to be I think this is going to be great for my Jewish brothers and sisters, because not a lot of us survived the Holocaust, and I think this technology would be a great way of painting our loved ones back to life.
Oh,
Exactly.
I
So,
hate this so much.
just a little bit of context. If you have watched Black Mirror as a TV series, then you're gonna love this, and it's gonna have a lot of similarities.
That sounds very racist.
It's a minute. It's a minute 46. And I'm gonna play with sound. I'm gonna leave you to just see what's happening and draw your own conclusions.
He's getting bigger.
Honey, that's wonderful.
Kicking like crazy.
Is he
He's
black?
listening. Put your hand on your tummy and hum to him. You used to love that.
I wonder if he was black, would the AI being an old lady that was around during that time be racist then, or would it
Exactly.
No, she would be gone for cigarettes.
Mom, would you tell Charlie that bedtime story you always used to tell me?
Once upon a time, there was a baby unicorn who didn't know he knew how to fly. This baby unicorn was like your mom because she didn't know that she knew how to fly, but she knew how to do all kinds of fabulous things.
All emotional, all stuff
Hey,
like that.
Charlie, how was school
Every bit
today?
of
It was
emotion.
really
And there's
fun.
the Black
I
Mirror
was
phone.
crazy shot
Yep,
back
there you
side.
go.
Oh,
Yeah, the
that much
weird
about basketball. What about
glass phone.
crush?
Yeah.
Grandma, stop talking.
Just tell me one thing.
Look who's gonna be a great grandmother.
Oh, Charlie.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh
She
yeah.
says that he's been kicking a lot though.
He's
The best
aging,
part is
she
coming
is
up.
not.
Tell her to put her
The
hand
best
on her
part is
tummy
coming up.
and hum to him. You loved that.
You would have loved this moment.
Yeah.
You can call anytime.
Fucking hell.
Okay, Mom, I just need a quick video.
Is this like an audition or something?
No, Mom, just 3 minutes.
You need my best side?
Can I see another one?
I can play the piano.
She's so talented.
I am.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
absolutely. I'm your mother after all.
Keep going. Why don't you start?
Oh
by
boy.
telling us a little bit about
Shit.
3 minutes can last forever.
I would
Yeah.
hope so.
So where is this
bedroom?
country based? Let's do a Google search to see where
Probably China.
two-way is based.
China or Israel?
Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
What are your what are your thoughts on that? I just want to know
I-
your thoughts on that. Yeah,
I
go ahead.
want to go first. It's not to be sentimental or anything, but it's been a little over 5 years since my dad passed away due to cancer. I miss him every single day. I would love nothing more than to have another conversation with him. I would feel like I'd be desecrating his life, his legacy, and everything good in the world if I was to ever do anything as insulting and as insane as that.
Absolutely. I co-sign on that. Because look, that is not the grandma. That is a grotesque parody of the grandma. And here's the thing.
Exactly.
I had a very similar situation to Roger. My father passed away in 2014 of cancer. And this past year, this time last year, this time in some weeks last year, my aunt, who found out which way I was voting, sent me a very long, nasty text message. Now, this is the aunt. She's related to my mother. She's not related to my father. And she ended the text message with, if your father were here, he would have voted for blah, blah, blah. He would have voted for Kalma, which, first of all, I know my father. I know that not to be true because I know the type of person my father was. Secondly, it led to an explosive, how dare you presume to speak for the dead, because you have no clue what they would have said in the situation if that person were alive. You have no clue. You may have an inkling, or you may think that you do, but you have no actual clue. So the fact that you're willing to throw my father's memory in my face over politics, let's just put it this way: the messages were too nasty for me to repeat the things that I said back on YouTube, because I respect Tulsa's channel too much to say them out loud.
And that's the other thing, is that that whole 3-minute BS is just a way to where they can actually go in and just manipulate it to have like the person that you want to talk to more than anything, and just like mentally manipulate you, because they can just go in and just have them say whatever they want. Like,
well, again,
hey, Grandma, I'm having issues trying to figure out who I should vote for. Who do you think I should vote for? Oh, you should definitely vote for this person.
Could you imagine the Canadian government having this, Roger? They're like, oh, I'm having a bad day, Grandma. That's bad, Charlie. Have you ever thought of MAID? Medically assisted?
Well,
I would just like to say, this is not like, I don't want to sound like, yeah, you had it, but I got it. I'm 35, and in my life, I have been to 1 wedding and 15 funerals.
Wow.
All of family members and close friends. I would never, like, I constantly think about the people in my life. I lost my mother when I was 18. Anyways, I watched this, and I have to say something. Like, this is gonna sound weird. This advertisement is devilishly perfect. Like, the music, everything, it touch, like, it goes deep. It makes you wanna, like, it makes you emotional. It's like, this is how they get you. They know how to get you. They know, like, the music, the slow piano music that touches the heartstrings, and
It's
that
the
message at the end, and seeing how you can be with your loved ones forever and ever. Never. I would never do. And this is Black Mirror shit, and exactly Expedition 33, because for those of you in the chat as well who have played Expedition 33, a little bit of a spoiler for you. This is a game about mainly dealing with grief. And how you deal with your emotions, and how you choose to deal with them, what path you choose to take, and whether or not you can take that path.
Look, I said this Thursday. If somebody does that to me after I'm dead, I'm coming back as a poltergeist and I'm haunting their ass.
I will. Once the time comes for me to actually write a will, a proper will. This is something that I would have to take into consideration to exclusively do not do anything like this to me. I refuse to give consent on that. This is abhorrent. It looks very well. It looks like very beautiful, very pretty, very well marketed. It is basically what I can consider the devil of what you can receive. This is AI going rogue as we speak.
Yeah, it's like what you said. The way they advertise this is just manipulative and evil and just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. That's why I told you the first AI topic was not the worst that we covered.
Yeah.
This is way worse. This is done by humans. That's the worst thing. It's not AI suggesting. This is done by humans. They're telling you don't need to work through your emotions. You don't need to get over your grief, which is one of the most human things that you can do in your life. Getting through your grief, processing your grief, being an adult, and actually handling your emotions, everything that you feel, and going through the entire process. Yes, it is a painful process, but
we
it is
need
one
to
of the
make
most
money, Helzo. I want to make money off of grieving
you can be
people
blissfully
forever.
happy. And you can be blissfully happy and just talk to your deceased grandma all day on the phone, not go out, not eat, not sleep, just talk and talk and talk and talk, and be oblivious to the world.
Also, you just hit up on an amazing point. Is if they do this, then people and generations in front of us will not understand the value because they did not mourn of human life. And then you get people like we did when Charlie Kirk was killed, that they just celebrate that someone passed away because the value of a life no longer means anything because the machine has made it not such.
I mean, there is a reasoning why, like going into like the whole thing with animals, there's a reason why if you have like a very close relationship with your dog and you die, you have to bring that dog to like the wake and everything so that they can smell you, so they can come to the understanding that you are gone and they're able to move on.
Yeah. And this is the first step, by the way. This is going to happen first, and I think Finch King in the chat said that they're trying to desensitize humans and welcome machines into their lives. Exactly. They're gonna be like, okay, first of all, you don't have to say bye to the ones who died. And then the next step is going to be, well, if you transfer your brain into a synthetic body, then you don't have to die. So nobody has to die. So you can live forever.
Absolutely. It's going to be reploids, replicants.
As someone who is a reanimated human being, who is the product of someone who got digitally murdered, and I'm digital Jesus, ladies and gentlemen. I came back from digital death.
Oh no, he's got another avatar idea.
Yeah, I do. I'm always of the mindset, folks, that you should never give up, you should never give in. I think it's the most human attribute, right? That we want to survive so much that we are willing to sacrifice our humanity to fulfill the most human trait of all, survival. Survival is the most human of our foundations, right? And we have seen many attempts over the history of humanity for humans to survive, and we've gone to many, many desperate lengths to do that, from harvesting each other's organs to connecting everyone into a central computer, to name but a few of the crazy things, right? And you guys know that this network only exists because its previous incarnation was murdered. Right? I know it's not the same as an actual person getting murdered. I can understand that. But from a twisted sense, the network is a organizational comparison to the very thing we have seen, because our aim is to survive and continue for as long as we can. It's like the ship of Theseus, right? You replace all the pieces of the ship of Theseus, is it still the ship of Theseus, right? There's enough material on Helzo's channel
Mhm.
to use every piece of content he's ever made to form a mirror image of him with today's technology.
Mhm.
You can, yes, and I'm sure that in the future this is going to become common. It's actually going to be, first of all, it's going to be malicious. The
Yeah.
initial was going to be malicious. It's going to be someone attacking the other channels, like the big channels, the really big channels. Someone who hates, let's say, someone like probably Nerdrodic, or let's say even PewDiePie or someone like that. It's going to make a mirror channel. It's going to make a absolute AI model. Probably
Yeah.
someone's already doing it, which is the worst thing. And then when people catch on, there's gonna be new rules, and it's gonna be basically the hackers versus anti-hackers wars that have been going on for decades, and it's gonna be like new ways, and it's going to accelerate. It's going to be out of control before we even realize it.
I mean, do you guys remember a while back? I believe it was Jim Acosta who was interviewing one of the kids that was murdered at Parkland, like an AI replicant of him, and how just unnerving and disturbing it was. And it was about maybe 3-4 months ago. And the AI was like, he would talk to it, and then like he'd like, what are your favorite movies? And Acosta was like, well, I like Star Wars. Star Wars is a great movie. It is a great struggle of Luke Skywalker's quest to become and I'm like, nobody talks like that. That's horrifying. And I can't believe the parents thought that was okay to try to push a gun control agenda. Just parading an avatar essentially of their dead child with an AI. And it is scary because now, again, that was only 3-4 months ago, and now they're pushing this hyper realistic thing that exists in your phone that can walk like you and talk like you after only watching 3 minutes of you and mimic your mannerisms and whatnot. And again, you're gonna have situations just like we were talking about with the actor thing. It's gonna be where something can happen to you, and they can just replace you with an AI that says things completely opposite to what you say, think, and believe, and tout it as the truth.
I think that's the big problem from my perspective, because from my perspective, if I want to bring someone back from the dead, I want them to be as much like them as possible. So what information would I source? The information that they themselves put to the world, right? The more of it, the better. Okay, let's use Helzo as an example. Right? Helzo dies, right? Sorry to start it off that way, but Helzo dies, right? We all pay tribute to a great guy who's done a lot of things and has, left behind a loving female and a great community. And then, Digny, the necromancer, is like, let's get all of Helzo's material, every show, every video, everything he's ever been in, right? And cut out the bits that are actually him speaking and conveying himself. Put all of that data into a central unit, right? Into a folder, and then in a sense, not create, but create a model of Helzo in which the piece of technology, the AI in this instance, scans all that information to know as much as it can about Helzo and essentially create a painted version of him, just like painted Verso in Expedition 33, painted by his grieving mother, painted so well that it was practically him, who got so sick and tired of being in that world that he is the reason for that world existing, for all the suffering around him, that he just wants it gone.
I mean, you already had a sample of that a few months ago, and I mentioned this in the previous talks about that. Charlie from Moist Critical did a video about AI, and the first, I think, 35 or 40 seconds was him being an AI. Yeah. And if you look closely, yes, you can tell that it's AI, but if you just pop up the video and just start watching him, there's a very good chance that you might not realize that. And that was like 4 months ago. And he told you, and you come back to the video, it's okay, I can see it now.
Yeah,
but
perception
even
is very
4 months ago was so good that we were already having trouble seeing it, which is the worst part, because this is expanding beyond any measure and at speeds that we cannot comprehend. I mean, again, I'm going to point out that almost every week on this show, we're talking about some new AI development that is
Oh, yeah.
scarier every time. If you go back just 2 weeks ago, you see how much less it was than now.
Well, perception of existence, gentlemen, is as important as existence itself. And that is why I am of the opinion, and this doesn't just apply to Helzo. In fact, this applies to everyone, because myself and my mentor have this mindset of we can't let it end. Because if we let it end, everyone fades away, no one remembers who you are, and at best you get a footnote in a history book somewhere that no one will ever read. It's sort of like an obsession of continuation. And I know that sounds weird, freaky, and morbid, but it is the most human aspect of who we are, to keep things alive and going, at the very least as a frame of reference. Not, in this case, as a commercial exercise. That I'm not in favor of at all. But in terms of archiving, in terms of record keeping, in terms of trying to keep as much of the person in existence as possible, that I am in favor of. But Roger, what do you think?
Basically, this also has to just come to a thing where, like, you just take a look at how the way that some people grow up, where you take a look at all like the sanitized stuff that like go back to like children's entertainment, that they don't want kids that have to deal with like harsh realities and everything. And when you grow up with that, you can't come to terms with something like that happens. Say like you did, you were growing up and like your parent died. If you don't accept like that harsh reality that they're gone and everything, then that advertisement is what's going to appeal to them so that they never have to say goodbye. And that is just one thing that people do have to come to grips with, is that yes, life sucks, but you just have to deal with it, because that's the only way that you can ever truly get by in life, is just coming to terms with that so that you can better embrace yourself for the harshness that reality is going to bestow upon you.
Yeah, I think people have gotten to the point where they just think that everything should be minimized. You shouldn't feel pain, and I get that pain sucks, but you have, the one thing about pain is that it lets you realize that you are in fact human. You are in fact mortal. Man is mortal. This is something I learned in 1986. Look, you know what the first death that affected me was, as somebody, as a 6-year-old? Optimus Prime. I'm not gonna lie. There were kids I knew who locked themselves in the closet for a week because Optimus Prime died, and Hasbro got a lot of flack for it. But here's the thing about it is my dad, seeing this thing happen in a cartoon movie is like, yes, this is what happens. Not everyone is here forever. People die. It's going to happen. But the thing is, as long as you have it in your heart, you keep going. You had to have the talk about life and death. But again, there are people who now, the whole idea is no one should ever feel any kind of hardship whatsoever, and death being one of those things. Look, death is inevitable. We're all gonna die. That's like, the one thing that's inevitable. That and taxes, unless you're Israel.
Like Helzo, he can agree with me on this. One of like the best line deliveries in One Piece was done by Dr. Heerluck, and it's towards the end of his life, and he states, when does a man truly die? He goes on and gives like all these explanations saying, no, it's not because of this, it's not because of this, and he ends with, a man truly dies when he is forgotten.
Absolutely. That was one of the first lines that really stuck to me from that show. And speaking of One Piece, like the things that we felt emotions for there, this is but what Jay said, that is inevitable. They're trying to change that as well, and I'm constantly getting the news that they're trying some in China some pills that are going to prolong your life to 200 years. So, but I'm saying like part of life, of proper life, is first of all learning about grief, learning about all your emotions at a young age, and learning about consequences. And without those things, you become unable, as Jace again said, to and Roger, to properly operate in this world. And instead of keeping those things, instead of keeping those things intact, they're trying to change how life should be. That's the worst part of it, because you're changing how life fundamentally should be lived. And that's probably someone on the other side who supports this, who say, well, yeah, you're against change, you're just stuck in the past, there's a better way. No, there's not a better way, because the real world does not give a fuck what society you want to build. If you get lost in nature, or if you're stuck in a nature freak accident like a tornado or something like that, nobody's going to give a fuck that you are softly raised and you don't know what to do with your life, and you don't have any skills, and you have no way of comprehending seeing, let's say, your loved one or someone close being absolutely torn to pieces by a tornado, or something like that. You need to, for the lack of better words, you need to fucking toughen up. All of the young people need to toughen up.
Let's consider, gentlemen, there was a world before smallpox and there was a world after it. The idea that everything stays... I mean, humanity is living proof that we can break the boundaries of nature and evolution, assuming you believe the evolution theory of creation, because some people don't, and I respect that in people. But I have found, folks, that every problem has a solution. It's just a question of figuring it out. And I think if humanity can stop itself from wiping itself out, we will find a way to conquer death, just in the same way that we managed to find a way to conquer smallpox. I mean, for thousands of years, smallpox was the great mass murderer of human existence, killed way more people than any wars. In fact, all wars put together, right? And that was a natural evolutionary thing that existed, but it was wiped out. It was annihilated, completely unprecedented. So that is an example of how human development can change things in our favor. And that is the key element here. In our favor, we should support any and all changes that support humanity, and we should oppose any or all changes that harm humanity. And this technology, this AI from Two-Way or whatever it's called, that is purely for commercial needs. It is not for the advancement of the human race or of human life.
Did we get who Two-Way is owned from as a company?
They started off in Canada. They're now based in the United States, but they're based in California, so they might as well be based in Israel.
So there is only one solution we can apply, and that's the final one, is what you're saying.
Oh my goodness. We must give them all $2,000 from tariff money.
Oh boy.
For some reason. But I will point out right here, right now, that it is not in human nature to stop. If it was, we would have stopped and we'd be stuck in the late 20th, early 21st century until we wiped each other out with nuclear weapons, so a couple of 100 years, or until the planet boils, if you believe the whole global warming stuff, because some people do, some people don't. But one thing we can do as individuals is take control of our own destiny, do what we enjoy, make a living, do what we enjoy, sustain ourselves and others around us, and of course be the change that you want to see. So on that note, let's, because we're over 2 hours, gentlemen, let's move to future plans. 2 hours We're going to have to do a whole show next week on AI because it's a very interesting topic. 2 hours.
There's probably
6
going to be
minutes.
enough topics for a whole AI show.
Oh, yeah.
Give it time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
Because
guys.
just to add something, we used to do one topic of AI. Now we're doing
Yeah.
2.
Imagine
guys-
eventually we're gonna have an AI guest, and it's just gonna be the 4 of us denigrating him on the air.
Oh Lord!
You
no.
stupid clanker! Get out of
You-
here! You're not
you're-
welcome here, clanker.
I'm sorry, Jose, but that assumes you don't have one here already because you don't know, do you, ladies and
Lord.
gentlemen?
The
For all
paranoia
you know,
begins.
For all you know, my mentor hired some tech-savvy individual to take all of my mentor's material from Rumble and Odyssey, gathered it all together, put it into an AI program, and put a nice cartoon image over it. You don't know that. I don't know that. We don't know that. But if that is the case, I'm doing a damn good fucking job with this network, aren't I?
Look at the
boy.
AI complementing itself. They're learning.
If you call me a clanker, I will get Tel Aviv on your ass.
Joke's on you, I live next to a bomb shelter.
Oh man.
You've never heard of the mother of all bombs. Most people think it comes from America, but what about you? And that's how you can tell I'm not AI. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Let's start off with Roger. What are your future plans, Roger?
Future plans. Tonight I'll be streaming over on the Rustic Rollers channel, where we will be continuing on with the One Piece D&D campaign that I am running, and depending how things escalate, because the ending of the last session, let's just say it started to escalate. Now we're going to see where that conclusion is going to lead us. If it's going to screw everybody over, or if it's going to just be hunky-dory. Let's just say that.
Well, as long as nobody gets eaten, everything will be fine. How about you, Jose? I know you recently got the call, so I know what some of your future plans will be. But what will your official future plans be?
Well, we've got MMO Monday tonight on the Cancels Podcast channel on Rumble. So we'll be doing a little bit of Final Fantasy 14 and Dragon Quest 10. Be doing a happy hour. That'll be John. And I believe you might be there making your debut on Cancels Podcast, Digny, from what I'm hearing through the grapevine. So
yes, my mentor is a bit ill because the seasons are changing and it's bloody freezing in the UK, and he can't afford his gas bill because he's too busy using gas on someone else. But hopefully the Zoom's all set up, John gets better, and Digny can make his debut.
Yeah, and then Thursday, of course, cancel this podcast, and we'll see where we're going with that. So all that and some good stuff. And no, I just have to go pay the mechanic to fix my mother's car. That does not mean that he is fixing it, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, but I will be right back.
That's all right, Jose. That's okay. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. The car may be fixed, but we've put a bomb under it. What about you, Elzo? What are your future plans?
Well, I'm officially on a month-long sabbatical from work, so that means that I'm gonna do everything I can to uplift my channel as much as I can, which means I'll do as many videos and gaming streams as possible. I've also started watching some courses about game development, because that is something that I really want to get into and see where it takes me. I don't know if I'm going to succeed. I don't know if I'm going to do anything about it. I don't know where I'm going to go with it, but I do have ideas. I do have a story. I do have all the materials. I just need to know how to build them. So we'll see. I have a month ahead of me. So I think it's going to be enough to at least get me started.
Excellent. Excellent.
Shalom.
We appreciate you, Helzo, for hosting this network show. And we appreciate everyone for watching. And we appreciate Jose and Roger for being on the show. As for my future plans, ladies and gentlemen, more network videos, more network shows, more network videos from network shows. A new Wednesday show's coming up, folks. 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern. Brand spanking new panel on Digny's channel. It's going to be his live streaming debut. Hopefully, we get a fantastic turnout. I'm not expecting much for a 200 sub channel, but considering Digny has gotten 11,000 views in the past 28 days, which shouldn't be possible for a channel of that size, I don't know what's going to happen. For all I know, hundreds of people are going to bloody watch. I don't know. It'd be very overwhelming. But if I look like this, I think Digny is going to do very, very well.
Shalom.
L'chaim. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for watching the 12th episode of Discuss Things Tangent Kings, and it's called Drinking Tea and Digging Graves. Whose grave are we digging?
Hollywood.
Oh, all right, right.
Probably mine.
You know, most of these network hosts are like, let's make a nice, funny comment at the start, then name our show. And I'm like, so weird. But, you know, I'm not a professional like these people are. Thank you, Jose and Roger, for being on. Thank you all very much for watching. If you haven't already, like the stream, share the stream. Donations are always welcome. And for all the network videos, check out my channel, The Dignified Cartoon Gentleman. Just type in Dignified Cartoon Gentleman. You'll find me very easily. And folks, if this profile picture does lead to the channel growing, I will keep it like this.
Of course.
Okay? Because
Thank you very much for watching.
I love Israel. Roger,
Yes.
say it.
You need a big giant schnoz nose to go along with it.
All right. Say the line, Bart.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll
Howard.
see you next Monday.
Rapist.
And thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.